The world sleeps. For billions, it is just another night, turning slowly beneath the vast, indifferent cosmos. But in quiet control rooms, behind colossal dishes pointed at the void, a handful of individuals maintain their vigil. They are the sentinels of the sky, listening for whispers in the darkness. They monitor the endless hiss of cosmic background radiation, the distant pulsars, the echoes of a universe far grander than our own. A routine night. Until it wasn't. At precisely 3:17 Coordinated Universal Time, the routine shattered. It began not with a bang, but a sudden, sharp clarity. A piercing, artificial tone amidst the ambient noise. Across 6 continents, in 10 distinct radio observatories, the exact same anomaly registered. Not a flicker. Not a glitch. But a distinct, undeniable signal. A beacon. A whisper, amplified. An impossibility that had just become reality. The world was about to change. In the control room of the Green Bank Observatory, Dr. Aries Thorne felt a jolt. His coffee cup clattered. The primary monitor flared with an unmistakable, repeating pattern. His first thought? Equipment malfunction. A local interference. He'd seen it all before. But the pattern, it was too clean. Too precise. The kind of precision the universe rarely offers unsolicited. He ran diagnostics. He checked the filters. Nothing. Everything, according to the system, was functioning perfectly. Yet, there it was. Thousands of kilometers away, at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, a similar scene unfolded. Then in Germany, at Effelsberg. In Australia, at Parkes. At the FAST telescope in China, a collective gasp. 10 observatories, designed for distinct purposes, operated by independent teams, each recording the identical event. The sheer unlikelihood of simultaneous, identical errors was staggering. It bordered on the absurd. Yet, the data streamed in, undeniable. A chorus of disbelief, slowly giving way to something far more profound. The initial protocol is always the same: rule out the mundane. Is it terrestrial interference? A rogue satellite? Military radar? Engineers meticulously cross-referenced. They checked known orbital paths, sifted through vast databases of human-made signals. Every known source was systematically eliminated. The signal had no terrestrial signature. It wasn't a communication network, nor a navigational beacon. It bore no resemblance to anything manufactured on Earth. A growing knot of unease began to tighten in stomachs around the globe. Then came the hoax theory. A coordinated, global prank. But how? To perfectly synchronize 10 independent observatories, using distinct equipment, across varying time zones, all while evading detection. The logistical nightmare alone made it laughably impossible. No known organization, no government, no individual possessed such capabilities. The idea quickly faded. This was not a human construct. The signal was real. And it was coming from somewhere else. An unsettling thought, even for hardened astrophysicists. What was it? The signal wasn't random noise. It wasn't a static burst. It was a repeating sequence. A complex, structured pattern that cycled with extraordinary precision. Each observatory recorded the identical waveform, the same precise timing, the same subtle modulations. It was like a cosmic heartbeat, steady and unwavering. But it wasn't the natural rhythm of a pulsar, nor the dying gasp of a supernova. This was something else entirely. Something designed. A deliberate transmission. The international community of radio astronomers is a tight-knit one. Emails flew. Encrypted calls lit up secure lines. The initial reports were met with skepticism, then growing alarm. Data was shared, cross-referenced, and verified. The raw signal data from Effelsberg matched Green Bank, which matched Arecibo, which matched Parks. No discrepancies. Not a single one. It was a moment of profound, terrifying unification. Humanity had listened. And something was listening back. Or, at least, broadcasting. Within hours, a torrent of data flowed into central processing hubs. Supercomputers, usually reserved for climate modeling or particle physics, were repurposed. Every available algorithm for signal decomposition, pattern recognition, and anomaly detection was thrown at the problem. The world's brightest minds in astrophysics, mathematics, and information theory were pulled from their sleep, their sabbaticals, their quiet research. A singular, urgent directive: understand the signal. Or, at least, what it wasn't star. The initial shock gave way to an intense, grinding period of analysis. Days blurred into nights. Sleep became a luxury. Coffee, a necessity. Scientists, driven by a mixture of exhilaration and growing dread, dissected every microsecond of the transmission. They searched for natural phenomena, geological tremors, solar flares, cosmic ray bursts. Anything. Any known explanation that could rationalize this impossible event. But every avenue led to a dead end. This was not a product of natural physics. The signal, initially a single clear tone, revealed itself to be far more intricate. It was not random noise. Not static. Statistical analysis confirmed an incredibly low probability of natural occurrence. The patterns within were too organized, too deliberate. They defied the inherent chaos of the universe. This wasn't a cosmic accident, it was a cosmic *designed star. A stark, unsettling realization. The universe, vast and silent, had just spoken. And its voice carried an alien logic. The pattern wasn't merely repeating. It was composed of distinct, modulated segments. Each segment was like a word in an unknown language, grouped into sentences. Engineers identified repeating motifs, variations on themes, and embedded substructures. It hinted at layers of complexity far beyond any simple hello. This wasn't a random beep from space. This was information. Highly organized. Intelligently constructed. The implications were profound. And terrifying. We were no longer alone in the universe. Teens immediately began the arduous task of decipherment. Could it be a mathematical sequence? A representation of fundamental constants? A star map? Every known method for breaking ciphers and codes, both human and theoretical, was applied. Initial attempts yielded only frustration. The signal resisted every approach. It was alien not just in origin, but in its very structure. A puzzle box crafted with a logic utterly foreign to our own understanding. A communication designed for an intelligence not quite like ours. Yet, glimmers of potential meaning began to emerge. Some analysts theorized it might encode universal constants, prime numbers, the value of pi, Planck's constant. Such elements would be common ground for any advanced civilization. A shared language of mathematics and physics. A desperate hope. But even these early interpretations were tenuous, requiring significant leaps of faith. The signal was a mirror, reflecting our own desperate search for commonality, for connection. And for now, it reflected only our confusion. The initial scientific exhilaration, that raw wonder of discovery, began to curdle into something colder. A profound unease. The signal was intelligent. That was beyond doubt. But what kind of intelligence? What were its intentions? Why was it broadcasting? And to whom? The questions multiplied faster than the answers. A sense of vulnerability crept in. Humanity, for all its technological prowess, was utterly unprepared. The silence of the universe had been a comfort. Its sudden voice, a terror. All this time, while the content was being dissected, another crucial investigation was underway: the origin. Where, precisely, was this signal coming from? Radio telescopes, by their very nature, are directional. They point. They focus. Triangulation, using the data from the 10 observatories, was the key. Scientists plotted vectors, computed distances, and refined their calculations with obsessive detail. The answer they found was, in its own way, as astonishing as the signal itself. More so, perhaps. The initial calculation was dismissed as an error. Impossible. Recalibrated. Checked again. And again. The result remained steadfast. The signal was not emanating from a distant star system. Not from a nebula. Not from another galaxy entirely. It was coming from our own cosmic backyard. Specifically, from the far side of the Moon. The side humanity never sees. The silent, hidden face of our closest celestial neighbor. An empty, desolate expanse. Or so we believed. This finding immediately raised new, terrifying questions. The Moon has been extensively mapped, surveyed by numerous lunar orbiters, landers, and human missions. Its geology is well understood. No known natural phenomenon could generate such a signal. No human-made object was registered in that precise location. No nation had admitted to, or even been rumored to possess, a secret lunar base capable of broadcasting such an advanced, powerful transmission. The far side was supposed to be barren. Empty. The possibility of Earth-based reflection was quickly debunked. The Moon, a natural reflector, could, in theory, bounce a powerful human signal. But the distinct, alien nature of the broadcast, its highly complex structure, ruled out any terrestrial origin. This was not a retransmission. This was an original broadcast. And it originated from a place that should have been silent. A dead rock. Our rock. Looming just beyond our reach, now suddenly vibrant with an unknown voice. The proximity was key. This wasn't a signal from light years away, traveling for millennia. This was nearby. Relatively speaking. Just a few 100,000 kilometers. It meant the broadcasters, whatever they were essentially our neighbors. Hiding in plain sight, just beyond our direct observation. A presence, silent and unseen, now actively broadcasting. This revelation amplified the dread. It turned cosmic wonder into claustrophobic terror. We were not alone. And they were closer than we ever dared to imagine. The implications were, to put it mildly, unspeakable. An intelligent presence, active on or near the Moon. For how long? What was its purpose? Was this a first greeting? A warning? Or simply a cosmic broadcast, not intended for us, but intercepted? The scientific community, once united by data, fractured under the weight of these questions. Panic began to set in. A raw, primal fear. The world was utterly unprepared for such a truth. And the clock was ticking. Even before official channels could process the magnitude of the discovery, whispers began. Small, isolated leaks from observatory staff, stunned by what they had witnessed. Encrypted forums on the dark web buzzed with rumors. Anomaly detected from lunar far side. Unidentified intelligent signal. Governments, initially slow to grasp the situation, quickly became aware. The threat of widespread public knowledge, of global panic, became paramount. And so, the machinery of classification began to churn. The first official government contact with the observatories was not a request for information. It was an order. Immediate. Unambiguous. All data, all analysis, all personnel involved were to be placed under the highest level of classification. Communications were to cease. Public statements were forbidden. The scientists, still reeling from their discovery, now found themselves silenced. Their profound breakthrough, their world-altering truth, was being locked away. For their own good, they were told. For humanity's good. It was an unprecedented act of global coordination. Nations, often at odds, united in a single, terrifying objective: containment. Secure teams, comprised of military intelligence, cyber warfare specialists, and psychological operations experts, descended upon the observatories. Communications were cut. Computers were seized. Scientists were debriefed, then sequestered. The outside world remained blissfully unaware. The signal, still broadcasting from behind the moon, continued its silent transmission. But humanity was no longer listening openly. The classified operation received its ominous code name, Starlight. Its mandate was simple: control the narrative. If word got out, the consequences were deemed too catastrophic. Panic. Religious fervor. Societal collapse. All were considered viable threats. The truth, in this case, was apparently too dangerous for human consumption. A massive disinformation campaign was initiated, ready to discredit any leaks, to bury any genuine report under a mountain of fabricated noise. The signal, however, remained indifferent to human subterfuge. What did they learn? What was so profoundly terrifying that it necessitated such an absolute, global blackout? Was the signal a direct threat? A declaration of war from an unseen enemy? Or was it something far more insidious? A truth that would dismantle our understanding of ourselves, our place in the universe? The silence that followed was heavy, profound. It was a silence filled not with the quiet comfort of the unknown, but the suffocating weight of a hidden truth. A truth too immense to bear. Imagine, for a moment, an intelligence close enough to touch. Broadcasting from a place we thought was empty. Watching us, perhaps, for untold centuries. And then, at 3:17 Universal Time Coordinated, it spoke. Not to us, perhaps, but into the void. A broadcast that our instruments, by sheer coincidence, managed to intercept. The implications are staggering. We are not alone. And the entities who sent this signal reside right on our cosmic doorstep. An unseen presence, now undeniably active. Could the signal itself have been a test? A probe of our capabilities? Our reactions? Our very nature? Perhaps they knew we would detect it. Perhaps they wanted us to detect it. The subsequent silence, the frantic government response, the global cover-up, perhaps this was all part of the alien observation. Our response, a chillingly predictable one, revealing humanity's deep-seated fear of the unknown. A fear that drove us not to unite, but to hide. What did the classified data truly contain? Beyond the basic parameters, the origin, the repeating pattern, what depths of information were uncovered before the blackout descended? Was there a message? A greeting? A warning? Or something entirely incomprehensible to the human mind, yet instantly recognized by those who seized control? That hidden knowledge, locked away, remains the central enigma. The truth, now obscured by layers of security, propaganda, and official denial. The moon, our constant companion, now carries a new, unsettling aura. No longer just a romantic orb in the night sky, but a silent guardian of a profound secret. For decades, humanity dreamed of colonizing it, exploring its craters, establishing bases. Now, it seems, someone else may have gotten there first. Or, perhaps, they were always there. Just out of sight, just out of mind. Until 3:17 Universal Time Coordinated, when they decided, for reasons unknown, to make their presence felt. A tremor in the cosmic silence. Despite the iron curtain of secrecy, the echoes of that night persist. The scientists involved, now bound by oaths of silence, carry the burden of their knowledge. The raw data, scrubbed from public servers, exists in forgotten backups, in the deep recesses of human memory. And the signal itself, did it ever stop? Or is it still broadcasting from behind the moon, a silent, intelligent hum, waiting for someone, somewhere, to listen again? The questions linger, unsettling and unanswered. The world continued. New cycles moved on. New crises emerged, old ones festered. But for a select few, for those who truly knew, nothing was ever the same. The cosmic landscape had been irrevocably altered. The universe was no longer empty. It was occupied. And the silence that governments had so desperately imposed was not a solution. It was merely a delay. A pause. A desperate attempt to postpone the inevitable. For how long can one hide the moon? Part 1 of this story concludes with a chilling question: what happens next? The signal was real. Its origin, confirmed. Its nature, intelligent. And the response, a global cover-up. But secrets, especially ones of this magnitude, rarely stay buried forever. The truth has a way of finding its light. What did the governments discover in those first frantic hours of analysis? What did the signal truly say? And when the silence finally breaks, will humanity be ready for what it reveals?